ZTE Prestige 2 versus Samsung Galaxy J3 Emerge. Comparison coming up right now. Let's get it started. Hey y'all, RJ here with CV Tech, and yes, I'm doing a comparison between the ZTE Prestige 2 and the Samsung Galaxy J3 Emerge. And you may be asking, why am I doing this comparison? Well, for several reasons, just to show you both phones and to show you really if phones of similar price of which one you should, in my opinion, you should pick and what I would pick if I was choosing between one of these two devices. Now the prices of the Samsung J3 Emerge are all over the place. I've seen them go as low, I think, for a port-in at Boost Mobile. I think it's free, unless that's changed. I think Boost Mobile online is selling for $59.99. Walmart's selling it for $80. And I think as of last time I checked, Best Buy is selling it for $119, which is the highest I think it's ever been. And right now you can only buy the ZTE Prestige 2 at Best Buy, as far as I know, and it's $79.99. So look at both of these phones here. You will see that, of course, when you look at them up close here, the ZTE is a wider, it is taller, it's just a bigger phone in general. Both of them have 5-inch displays. And the layouts are they're just different, of course, different manufacturers. Except for the volume buttons, both of them are on the left side, and power button is on the right side. But on the top here and on the bottom, both of them are micro USB, and both of them has flash and a camera on the rear, of course, and different branding, ZTE and Samsung. And so yeah, different phones, similar price. And so let's go ahead and just get into it and just find out about both of these phones. Now this phone here has a 2035 milliamp hour battery. Samsung has a 2600 milliamp hour battery. Both of them are user replaceable, which is always nice. Down here, of course, got your back, your home, and recents button. And on here is opposite of the ZTE, back, physical home button, and recents button here. So let's go ahead here, just power both of these phones on. And of course, right away, you'll see the displays are just, yeah, there's no comparison in the displays. Let's go into CPU-Z here, and you will see right here, let's go back over here, the ZTE is running the 1.1 gigahertz Snapdragon 210, which is a quad-core processor running the Cortex A7. Over here, got the 1.4 gigahertz Snapdragon 425, I do believe it is, which is also quad core, with a Cortex A53. This is a 304 GPU. Over here is a 308 GPU on the Samsung. Let's swipe over here, and you will see. Let's try to bring it in a little bit and get it back into focus. Both of them are 5-inch displays, as you see there. 854 by 480 on the Prestige 2, 720 or 1280 by 720 on the Samsung J3 Emerge. The screen density is right at 100 more on the Samsung 293 and 197 on the Prestige 2. Total RAM is 1.5 gigs here on the Samsung and 2 gigs here, but total RAM is showing right here is 1354 on the Samsung J3 Emerge and 1917 here on the Prestige 2. Now the internal storage is 16 on both phones, but max storage out of the box is 10.41 on the Samsung and 9.32 on the Prestige 2. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this comparison. So let's scroll on over here and get into everything. Let's go ahead and make sure that everything is cleared out, and it is. So let's go ahead here and start with this comparison. That was equal. Go into YouTube. Samsung. Calculator. Samsung. Calendar. Samsung. That was pretty close. I think the Samsung barely beat it out. Let's go into camera. That was pretty equal. Let's go into Google Plus. J3 Emerge. Let's go into IMDb. And J3 Emerge is going to take that as well. Not on Instagram at the moment. So let's go to skip back, go into Play Store. And J3 Emerge had it just barely there. Let's go into Settings. J3 Emerge. Let's go into Snapchat. And that popped up a little bit faster there on the Prestige 2. Let's go into Twitter. And the Samsung got it. Let's go now into Temple Run 2. Now, you don't see a lot of difference here in just opening these apps. It's pretty close, as you see. Now, you're going to see, of course, most likely, Samsung's going to whoop the Prestige 2 in gaming. That's a given. But in general, just opening apps, regular apps, I mean, they're pretty close. I mean, even though this does have a much stronger processor, but as you see gaming there, the J3 Emerge is just a lot faster. It's already ready to go, ready to play. We're still waiting over here for this one to load. So that right? So you're gonna see the main difference in gameplay. The gameplay is gonna be a whole lot better on the The gameplay is going to be a whole lot better on the Samsung J3 Emerge. Just the experience of it. Let's go into Subway Surfer. But generally, just opening up apps, you know, with the extra ½ gigabyte of RAM here in the ZTE, that does seem to help with, you know, opening the apps. Just simply opening apps is just opening apps. Really, what goes into it, you know, is, you know, reloads and stuff like that, as y'all all know. We're already ready to go here on the Samsung, and as you see, it's still lagging behind pretty good here on the Prestige 2. So, you know, you would think that, you know, the ZTE would have at least bumped up the processor here on this phone from the original Prestige, but, you know, they didn't. Gonna look here at N22. These benchmark scores here are just scores. I don't really put much stock in them, but I run them to show a comparison difference. And there is a big difference, 21,485 and 35,436 on the Samsung. So pretty good difference there. Go into Geekbench, and we'll look at the scores that I ran previous. And you can see how much slower it was there on the Prestige 2. Let's go into history. And you'll see there is the results. Much better. 398 single score on the Prestige 2. 642 here on the Emerge. And 1004 Prestige 2 and 1668 here on the J3 Emerge. So a pretty good difference there. And as you can see, the screen quality. I mean, the screen quality is just really nice. Is just really nice here on the Galaxy J3 Emerge. If there's a few little cutouts here and there, I apologize. I'm having a little bit of issue right now with the tripod, so it's kind of, you know, messing me up a little bit. But so I apologize for that little bit of interruption. Maybe that little stutter there, whatever. So anyway, let's go back home here and just kind of reopen a few of these apps. So surprisingly, the Prestige 2 had that one. Go into YouTube. So that extra RAM does help out a little bit. Let's go back into Google Plus. Already open, and there is the J3 Emerge. Go into Camera. The J3 Emerge took that one. So when I'm pushing the apps, you'll see this one's going to it first. This one right here is actually showing the app first. So it's just kind of one of those things, you know. You see there, it's popped up, ready to go. So you had to reload up. So I mean, it's kind of one of those things, you know, when it comes to these devices. Reopening apps seems to be, a bit better here on the ZTE Prestige 2. Ready to go. Still waiting on the Emerge 2. So, it's just one of those things. Let's go into Temple Run and see what happens there. Had to reload here on the Samsung and ready to go here on the Prestige 2. So had to reload on the Samsung. Subway Surfer, um, the exact same way. Ready to go here. J3 Emerge, had to restart. So, it's just one of those things. And it's really, as far as, performance, the J3 Emerge is faster in everyday usage. I have used both phones, and I have seen that after a little while of hard usage here on this phone, it does tend to slow down because of that low 1.1 quad core 210 compared to this 1.4 quad core 425. But this extra little bit of RAM just seems to work. Just seems to work, and not having to constantly reload apps is really nice to see that. So, I mean, really, what are the pros of the Samsung J3 Emerge compared to the Prestige 2? In my opinion, the screen. Screen is first and foremost. The screen is much better, much clearer, much sharper, and it's just a much better screen. 720p versus 480 with very low pixel density. The side speaker is much louder, much more powerful than the Prestige 2. Call quality is better. Reception is better. The Prestige 2 reminds me of the Warp 7. And as a lot of y'all know, the Warp 7 had a weak antenna. So this has the same problem as that. Reception is not quite as good, but when you get a good connection, it does hold on. Battery life is tons better on the Samsung. Of course, much bigger battery, but still both of them are pretty good. Both of them will last you a whole day. But as you've seen on the Prestige 2, and the camera is also better on the Samsung from the pictures I have taken, which has not been many. Most of them have been indoor, but from what I have taken, the Samsung is a better camera in general. But the Prestige 2, it seems to, when it comes to gameplay, the Samsung's going to dog it. The Samsung is just tons faster. I've not played any intense games here on the Prestige 2, but as you've seen opening just those two small games there, it took quite a while for the Prestige 2 to load them games up. But once I exited out of them and went back into them, the Samsung had to reload, and the ZTE Prestige 2 did not have to reload. And most apps was faster reopening on the Prestige 2. So it's kind of one of those things to where this is a good phone. The Prestige 2 is a big step up from the original Prestige. But in my opinion, they could have made it a bit better. They could have gave it just a stronger processor. And they could have gave it at least a 720p display. If they would have done that, I would say $80 would be a good price, especially since you can get the same phone over here with well, not the same phone, but phones that run sort of similar. Of course, like I said, gameplay is where it's really gonna hit you at. If you like to play games, the Samsung is a much better choice for you. If you want a better camera, the Samsung's a better choice for you. And if loudness out of a speaker is important to you, the Samsung's going to be it. But this phone right here right now is $80 at Walmart, the same price this phone right here is at Best Buy. And the reason why I would say the J3 Emerge is simply because better battery life, better cameras, better display, and a better processor. This here does have more RAM. It does run Marshmallow. Both of them do run 6.0.1. And if this one right here had if this just had a better processor and a better display, it would be very close, in my personal opinion. If they would have gave us here at least a 720p display and maybe like the same processor as the Samsung or something similar close to that, then it would be a very much closer race and harder for me to decide between these two phones. But my personal opinion is the J3 Emerge. It's just more solid. It feels better. It's not as slick. It grips better in the hand. Call quality is better, and the overall quality of the phone of the Samsung is better than the Prestige 2. But this phone right here is more of a price range of around $40 to $50 max. 80 with some of the specs it's got is, to me, is just too expensive. That's just my personal opinion. But y'all seen the comparison, y'all seen how it looked. So I apologize for a little bit of a stop and start a little bit there, maybe a little bit of a hiccup because I had some tripod issues there. But anyway, this was helpful and you enjoyed it any at all, hit that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. Any questions or comments, leave it down below in the comment section. I'll get back with you as soon as possible. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and that would be really appreciated. And so, yeah, y'all have a good one, and stay tuned for the next video.